Our old friend Marco Mendicino, one of the most notable and very serious ministers of public safety in Canadian history, has decided he's not going to run again.
Yeah, I'm sure it's one of those want to spend more time with my family conversations. But looking at the polling, Marco is polling to, 99% chance of losing his riding. The Conservatives are going to flip that with a 52% Conservative vote. So, yeah, he's not going to win anyways. I think he sees that. I know he sees that. The writing is on the wall and he's jumping ship before it sinks. So, yeah, typical Marco.
Yeah, well, and of course, his story is, it's like, oh, it's just too toxic. Same thing with Pam Damoff, right? She's going to lose as well. No, I'm leaving because politics is so toxic. In fact, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I saw this CBC documentary, The Fifth Estate or The Nation.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Where it's like, politics has become so dangerous and so toxic. Like they never, ever really, in this show, interviewed anyone that could articulate why. Like there's probably a reason why if you're getting that much hate.
Like they have no idea.
Right. And so they interviewed some guy on the street that was protesting, like not for anything specific, on Parliament Hill. And he's like, oh, well, what are you so mad about? And he couldn't articulate himself. It's like, okay. And that was the only other side of the story. And then, of course, when Marco announces that he's not going to run again, you have all of the Liberal cult members come out. And they're like, oh, it's just such a shame that politics it's like, I'll tell you why it's toxic. Because this guy lied so many times, you couldn't even count them all. A great example is when he said that the long gun registry led to the arrest and the stopping of
the Polytechnique shooter.
Of Mark Lepine. And then, of course, Dan from Caliber Magazine was on the phone. He actually got media availability there. And he's like, this guy killed himself at the scene. And then Marco's like, and then switches to, look at all these brave victims. I'm just like, man, you just, like these people say the most outrageous lies. Like a normal person would have went, you know what? I got that wrong. I apologize. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. I mixed those two things up. The long gun registry is good for these other reasons. Like just an honest, normal person, but no, it's like gaslighting, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, he's like, he's talking to David Lametti. Maybe we can use tanks. Does the military have any tanks we can use against Canadian citizens? It goes on and on and on. Like he's an absolutely horrible person who has really hurt people. And and it's just such a shock why he's getting all this hate. Same thing with Pam Damoff.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then the other Liberal cult members are all, tweeting at them like they're war heroes, thank you for your service or something. And it's just, wow. Yeah.
Same thing with JT,
we're not on the same planet.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you've done so much for the country. It's like, man, where have you been for the last 9.5 years? Like people have F Trudeau signs. What, for no reason? Because his hair is too beautiful? Like, why do you think that is?
They have no idea.
It's just the whole conversation is so unserious. But anyway, I think we beat that to death. But yeah, good riddance. Marco Mendicino, you'll go down in history as one of the worst, most malevolent, malignant people that ever held public office. Same thing with Bill Blair and the rest of them. So
yes,
they seem to put the worst people in the public safety file for some reason.
Of course they do. Of course they do. It's a dirty job. You know what? And that's how you know they don't treat this file seriously. Like public safety is an actual serious issue in this country. Rising crime and violence, the whole shebang. I could rattle off a whole bunch of stats, but they don't take it seriously because all it's used for is pacifying anti-gun lobbies. That's it. That's what the file's about. It's not actually about saving lives or protecting Canadians. So
it's just a file to manipulate and gaslight people with. Man, that's it. Thanks for hanging in there. Really appreciate it. It's going to be an exciting year, no matter what. So thanks so much, everyone. Share the podcast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.